What if I told you that a single decision you make today could determine whether you retire wealthy or struggle financially for the rest of your life? What if I told you that this decision doesn't require a college degree, a high-paying job, or even a trust fund from your parents? The truth is, there's a simple strategy that most people completely overlook, and it involves nothing more than setting aside the equivalent of what you might spend on a few coffee runs each week. My name is Nick, and I help people understand how small financial decisions can create massive long-term results. If you're interested in building real wealth without complicated investment strategies or get-rich-quick schemes, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if this information helps you. Here's something that might shock you. According to recent financial surveys, the majority of Americans cannot access even $1,000 in an emergency. Think about that for a moment. More than half of the people in this country are living so close to the edge that a minor car repair or medical bill could completely derail their finances. This isn't just about poor people or minimum wage workers. This includes people with decent jobs, college degrees, and what appears to be middle-class lifestyles. The reality is that most people are trapped in a cycle where they earn money, spend money, and repeat the process without ever building any meaningful wealth. They might have nice cars, trendy clothes, and the latest gadgets, but underneath all of that consumption lies a frightening truth. They're broke, and they don't even realize it. But what if there was a way to escape this trap? What if there was a proven method that could transform your financial future, starting with an amount so small that you probably wouldn't even miss it? Today, I'm going to show you exactly how $100 per month could completely change the trajectory of your life. Before we dive into the specifics, let me ask you something. When you think about building wealth, what comes to mind? Maybe you picture Wall Street traders making million-dollar deals, or tech entrepreneurs selling their companies for billions of dollars. Perhaps you imagine real estate moguls buying and selling properties, or lottery winners hitting the jackpot. These dramatic examples dominate the headlines, but they represent the exception, not the rule. The real secret to building wealth isn't glamorous. It doesn't make for exciting news stories or viral social media posts. It's actually quite boring, which is probably why most people ignore it completely. The secret is consistency, time, and the incredible power of compound growth working in your favor. Here's where things get interesting. If you can manage to save just $100 every single month, you'll immediately be ahead of more than 60% of your peers. That's right. This simple act alone will put you in a better financial position than the majority of people around you. It's not because $100 is a massive amount of money. It's because most people never develop the discipline to consistently save anything at all. Think about what $100 represents in your monthly budget. For many people, that's equivalent to eating out a few times, buying a couple of new clothing items, or subscribing to several streaming services they rarely use. It might be what you spend on impulse purchases during a single trip to the store, or what disappears from your account through various small transactions that you don't even remember making. The question isn't whether you have $100. The question is whether you're willing to redirect that money from consumption to wealth building. This requires a fundamental shift in how you think about money and what it can do for you over time. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. $100 doesn't seem like enough to make a real difference. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, finding an extra $100 might feel impossible. If you're already doing well financially, $100 might seem insignificant compared to your other expenses. Both of these perspectives miss the bigger picture entirely. Let me share a story that illustrates this perfectly. There was once a teacher who told his students that if they could save just $100 every month, they would become millionaires by the time they retired. At first, the students thought this was impossible. How could such a small amount lead to such a large result? The teacher wasn't talking about magic or luck. He was talking about mathematics and the extraordinary power of compound interest. The beauty of this approach isn't just about the money itself. It's about developing the habits and mindset that wealthy people possess. When you commit to saving $100 every month, you're forced to become more intentional about your spending. You start paying attention to where your money goes. You begin distinguishing between wants and needs. You develop the discipline that separates those who build wealth from those who struggle financially. But how exactly do you find that extra $100 each month? There are essentially two approaches you can take, and the most successful people often use both simultaneously. You can either reduce your expenses or increase your income. Let's explore both options. On the expense side, start by examining your fixed costs. These are the recurring payments that happen automatically each month without you thinking about them. Your insurance premiums, cell phone bill, internet service, and various subscriptions all fall into this category. Many people are paying far more than necessary for these services simply because they've never taken the time to shop around or negotiate better rates. Insurance companies, phone carriers, and other service providers count on customer inertia. They know that most people will continue paying the same rates year after year without questioning whether they're getting the best deal. A few hours spent researching alternatives and making phone calls could easily save you $50 to $100 per month or more. Then there are the subscription services that have become epidemic in our society. Streaming platforms, software subscriptions, gym memberships, magazine subscriptions, and countless other recurring charges can add up to hundreds of dollars per month. Many people are paying for services they rarely use or have completely forgotten about. Conducting a thorough audit of these expenses could free up significant money immediately. Your spending habits offer another opportunity for savings. Small changes in how often you eat out, where you shop for groceries, and what you buy can accumulate into substantial monthly savings. The key is being strategic rather than making drastic cuts that you won't be able to sustain long term. On the income side, the modern economy offers more opportunities than ever to earn additional money. Whether it's freelancing skills you already possess, starting a small side business, or taking on part-time work, increasing your income by $100 per month is often more achievable than people realize. The specific method you choose matters less than your commitment to making it happen. Some people find it easier to cut expenses, while others prefer to focus on earning more. The most important thing is taking action rather than getting paralyzed by trying to find the perfect approach. Once you've identified how to save that $100 each month, the next step is understanding what happens when you put that money to work through investing. This is where the real magic begins, and it's something we'll explore in detail as we continue. The moment you start investing that $100 each month, you enter an entirely different financial universe. This is where your money stops being just money and transforms into something far more powerful. It becomes a wealth-generating machine that works around the clock, earning returns even while you sleep. Let's break down exactly what happens when you put that $100 to work in the stock market. Over a 10-year period, assuming reasonable market returns, your monthly contributions of $100 don't just add up to $12,000. They grow to approximately $18,000. That extra $6,000 represents your money earning money, which might not sound revolutionary at first glance. But here's where most people make a critical mistake in their thinking. They look at that $6,000 gain and think it's nice, but not life-changing. They're focused on the short-term results rather than understanding the exponential power that's building beneath the surface. What they're witnessing is just the beginning of a wealth creation process that becomes increasingly powerful with time. The real transformation happens when you extend that timeline. Instead of thinking about 10 years, imagine what occurs over a 40-year career. That same $100 per month consistently invested grows into something that will shock you. Your total contributions over 4 decades amount to $48,000. But your investment portfolio doesn't stop at $48,000. It explodes to over $350,000. Think about what this means. You personally contributed less than $50,000, but your account contains more than $350,000. Where did that extra $300,000 come from? It came from compound interest, which Albert Einstein allegedly called the eighth wonder of the world. More than 85% of your wealth came not from your labor, but from your money working for you. This is the fundamental difference between people who build wealth and people who struggle financially forever. Wealthy people understand that there are limits to how much they can earn through their physical efforts, but there are virtually no limits to how much their money can earn for them when given enough time to compound. Consider the mathematics behind this transformation. In the early years, your returns might seem insignificant. A 10% return on $5,000 is only $500. You might think that $500 isn't worth the effort or risk of investing. After all, you could probably earn that much by working a few extra hours at your job. But this perspective completely misses the point. As your investment balance grows, those percentage returns translate into increasingly larger dollar amounts. When your portfolio reaches $50,000, that same 10% return generates $5,000 in a single year. When it hits $100,000, you're earning $10,000 annually from your investments. At $300,000, your money is generating $30,000 per year. Suddenly, your investments aren't just supplementing your income. They're creating substantial wealth that could potentially replace your salary entirely. This is when people start to understand why investing early and consistently is so crucial. The difference between starting at age 25 versus 35 isn't just 10 years of contributions. It's the loss of 10 years of compound growth on every dollar you would have invested. The numbers we've discussed assume an 8% annual return, which is actually conservative compared to historical stock market performance. The S&P 500 has averaged over 10% annually for decades. Using that higher return rate, your $100 per month could grow to well over $500,000, with an even higher percentage coming from compound growth rather than your contributions. But here's something most financial content creators won't tell you. The hardest part isn't understanding the mathematics. The hardest part is developing the discipline to stick with the plan when everything around you is encouraging immediate gratification. We live in a culture that promotes spending over saving, consumption over investment, and instant pleasure over long-term wealth building. Every month, you'll face decisions about that $100. Should you invest it as planned, or should you use it for something more immediate and tangible? Maybe there's a sale on something you want, or friends are planning an expensive weekend trip, or you see an opportunity to upgrade your lifestyle in some small way. These moments test your commitment to your financial future. The people who successfully build wealth through consistent investing develop what I call investment automation. They set up systems that remove the temptation to spend their investment money on other things. They treat their monthly investment contribution like any other essential bill that must be paid. They understand that paying themselves first isn't just a nice idea, it's the foundation of financial independence. As your investment balance grows, something psychological happens that accelerates the wealth building process. You start to notice the monthly growth in your account, and it becomes genuinely exciting. Instead of viewing investing as a sacrifice, you begin to see it as the most rewarding thing you do with your money. This excitement motivates you to look for ways to increase your monthly contributions. You might decide to invest your tax refund instead of spending it. You could redirect money from lifestyle inflation when you get a raise. You might start a side business specifically to generate more investment capital. When you see your money growing substantially each month without any additional effort from you, finding ways to feed that growth becomes a priority. This shift in mindset separates those who build significant wealth from those who remain stuck in the consumption cycle. Instead of asking how much you can afford to spend on something, you start asking how much that purchase will cost you in future wealth. That $100 dinner isn't just $100 anymore. It's potentially several $100s in lost investment growth over time. The wealthy understand that every dollar has the potential to become multiple dollars through compound growth. This understanding influences every financial decision they make. They're not necessarily more disciplined or smarter than everyone else. They simply have a different relationship with money and time. When you truly grasp the power of compound growth, you realize that your biggest asset isn't your job, your house, or any material possession. Your biggest asset is time. And every month you delay starting this process is a month of potential growth that you can never recover. The $100 per month strategy works because it's achievable for most people, but it's also scalable. As your income grows throughout your career, you can increase your monthly contributions. The person who starts with $100 at age 25 might be contributing $500 or $1,000 per month by age 40. The early habit of consistent investing creates the foundation for accelerated wealth building later in life. But even if you never increase that initial $100 contribution, you'll still achieve something remarkable. You'll have created financial independence through one of the most boring, reliable, and powerful strategies ever discovered. While others are chasing get-rich-quick schemes or trying to time the market, you'll be quietly building wealth through the proven method that has created more millionaires than any other approach in history. The question many people ask at this point is whether this strategy actually works in the real world, or if it's just theoretical mathematics that sounds good on paper. The answer is that millions of people have used this exact approach to build substantial wealth, often starting from very modest beginnings. What makes this strategy so powerful isn't just the compound growth we've discussed, it's the transformation that happens to you as a person when you commit to consistent investing. You develop financial discipline that extends far beyond that monthly $100 contribution. You become more conscious of your spending patterns, more strategic about your career decisions, and more focused on long-term outcomes rather than immediate gratification. This shift in perspective creates opportunities that most people never even notice. When you have money saved and invested, you gain options that simply don't exist for those living paycheck to paycheck. Maybe a better job opportunity comes along, but it's with a smaller company that offers more growth potential and less immediate security. Without savings to fall back on, most people can't take that risk. But when you have a growing investment portfolio, you can afford to bet on yourself. Perhaps you've always wanted to start a business, but you needed capital to get it off the ground. Maybe an incredible real estate opportunity presents itself, but it requires a down payment that you don't have sitting in your checking account. These scenarios happen constantly, but they're only available to people who have built up financial resources through consistent saving and investing. The wealthy understand that money creates more money, not just through investment returns, but through the opportunities that become available when you have capital to deploy. They can take calculated risks that others simply cannot afford to take. They can invest in themselves, their education, and their business ventures because they have the financial foundation to support these decisions. But here's something that might surprise you about this $100 strategy. The goal isn't necessarily to save exactly $100 for the rest of your life. The goal is to establish the habit and mindset that makes wealth building inevitable. Most people who start with $100 per month find themselves naturally increasing that amount as they see the results. When you watch your investment account grow month after month, year after year, something clicks in your brain. You realize that every dollar you can redirect from consumption to investment is a dollar that will multiply over time. This realization often leads to what financial experts call lifestyle optimization rather than lifestyle inflation. Instead of spending every raise or bonus on upgraded possessions, you start channeling that extra money into your investment accounts. Instead of viewing your tax refund as fun money, you see it as an opportunity to accelerate your wealth building. This mindset shift is what separates people who achieve financial independence from those who remain trapped in the cycle of earning and spending. The beauty of starting with just $100 is that it proves to yourself that wealth building is possible. Many people never start investing because they believe they need thousands of dollars to make it worthwhile. They're waiting for the perfect moment when they have a large lump sum to invest, not realizing that the perfect moment is right now with whatever amount they can afford. Once you've successfully maintained the $100 habit for 6 months or a year, you gain confidence in your ability to stick with long-term financial plans. This confidence often motivates people to optimize other areas of their financial lives. They might refinance their mortgage to get a better rate, shop for cheaper insurance, or negotiate a higher salary at work. These additional improvements compound the effect of your original $100 commitment. Maybe you save $50 per month on insurance and another $75 by reducing unnecessary subscriptions. Suddenly, you're investing $225 per month instead of $100, and your wealth building accelerates dramatically. The psychological impact of seeing your net worth grow consistently cannot be overstated. For many people, this is the first time in their lives that they've experienced their financial situation improving month after month without requiring additional work hours or career advancement. Your money is literally working for you while you sleep, and that realization is both empowering and addictive in the best possible way. As your investment balance reaches significant milestones, the monthly growth becomes increasingly noticeable and exciting. When your account hits $50,000 and grows by several $100s in a single month from market gains alone, you start to understand why wealthy people are so passionate about investing. When it reaches $100,000 and generates several $1,000s in growth during a good month, the power becomes undeniable. This is when most people experience what I call the wealth building acceleration phase. They're no longer satisfied with minimal monthly contributions because they can see how much faster their money could grow with larger investments. They start looking for ways to increase their income specifically to fund their investment accounts. They might take on freelance work, start a side business, or pursue career advancement more aggressively. The $100 strategy works because it creates momentum. Like a snowball rolling down a hill, it starts small but gains size and speed over time. The key is getting that snowball started, which is exactly what happens when you commit to investing your first $100. Even if market conditions aren't perfect when you start, the strategy still works because you're investing consistently over decades. You'll experience market downturns, recessions, and periods of uncertainty, but you'll also benefit from market recoveries, bull markets, and periods of exceptional growth. Over the long term, these fluctuations tend to balance out in favor of patient investors. The people who fail with this strategy typically make one of two mistakes. Either they never start because they're waiting for perfect conditions, or they start but quit during the first major market downturn when their account value temporarily decreases. Successful wealth builders understand that market volatility is part of the process, not a reason to abandon the strategy. When you commit to this approach, you're joining a group of people who understand that building wealth is a marathon, not a sprint. You're choosing delayed gratification over immediate consumption, and you're betting on your ability to stay disciplined over many years. These are the characteristics that separate financially successful people from everyone else. The $100 per month strategy isn't glamorous, and it won't make you rich overnight, but it will make you wealthy over time, which is far more valuable than any get-rich-quick scheme. It's a proven path that requires nothing more than consistency, patience, and the wisdom to start today rather than waiting for tomorrow. Your financial future is determined by the decisions you make today. Every month you delay starting this process is a month of potential compound growth that you can never recover. The best time to start investing was 20 years ago, but the second best time is right now. Take that first step, commit to your first $100, and begin building the wealth that will transform your life forever.